Let's talk. Okay. You got
to 100.4.
in front of you, Barry's worked on some stuff. He's listened to us talk here at the meeting on Tuesday. He brought some numbers to the table so we can kind of talk about what we're trying to accomplish and how it solves the needs on that the mayor is putting out this budget. So, Barry, you want to talk about this in detail? Let's go down item by item.
It's just a couple of changes here in the request, not wanting to cut household pickup from 2 days to 1.
3 to 2.
That's right, 3 to 2. Not wanting to do that, and also wanting to get additional paving money from the council. What we looked at is a combination of the gas tax and the sanitation fees. And if we increase the gas tax by 3 cents instead of the 2, that would be for the budget that we've got. That would be an increase of an additional 1.5 million. The sanitation fee collection increasing that $2 a month.
No, 4.5.
For the total, we've already got 2. We've already got 3 million.
$2 on sanitation fee.
$2 on sanitation fee increase is about $750,000 for each dollar, so that's another 1.5 million. So that gives us an additional $3 million of revenue, and what we're proposing is increase the sanitation salaries back by $2 million. That's what we had expected to save.
Let's go back here on the right hand side. Impact of $3 million, right?
That's right. On the far side, you see fund balance impact of each.
And then we're saying we're going to give sanitation back the $2 million we took away. Is that right?
That's right.
And we're going to give street maintenance an additional $1 million. Is that right?
An additional $1 million. So that is $2 million additional dollars in street maintenance budget to be prorated to the council based on district.
618 count.
That's right.
It goes from,
well,
it was going to be 200. Now it's going to 300,000.
That's right.
On top of our.
So we get that additional.
200 on top of the 100. You put in 100 for the.
Already had 100.
And then we put in 200 more, so that gets it up to
300,000.
And each time you throw 100,000, it's $1 million.
For each district.
And realistically,
Earmark.
at some point in time, we want to explain to you. At some point in time, we want to explain what the $3.5 million is full for us. And when you're ready to have the explanation, I don't think we do it right this minute, is to, even if you went outside, you're going to be wasting about 2/3 of your money in time and additional cost, because we can do it without detailed plans, without bid and things like that. And on average, it's going to triple the direct cost that we would have if we went outside. And Chris is prepared to make that.
Let's finish. Let's finish this page, okay?
The final piece is, because we're not reducing from 3 days to 2 days, we won't be able to reduce the sanitation packers by 25. And therefore, the lease purchase, the equipment purchases we had planned on were conditioned on that reduction. And so we're proposing to increase the lease purchase from 4.3 to 4.9 million, which allows us to get 3 more sanitation packers.
So that's the proposal on the table from the mayor's office on our budget, and that starts our conversation. Anybody want to input on 3-cent gas tax?
Yeah, let me ask. Just for clarification. $2 per month for the increase
On sanitation.
we keep the same. But that is in conjunction with raising the gas tax by 3.
Right.
We had 2 now.
Right.
Right.
You're gonna raise it to 5. You know, you have to 4 now. You're gonna raise it by 3. You're gonna put it to 7.
We're not at 4.
We're 4 cents.
We're 4 cents per
On the
gallon.
pumps today, we are.
Yeah.
4 cents on the pump.
Yeah, and it's not a pump, it's on the delivery of the gas to the station. That deliverer pays 4 cents per gallon.
You know you're paying on the
Well, sure, yeah. But it's not at the pump.
It's not a pump. And what about the kerosene? I mean,
The sanitation.
no, there's another one that we imposed that it was a 2. 2 cents.
Sanitation.
$2 on sanitation.
But we had proposed to do 2 cents on
No,
gas.
on the gas.
We had proposed that, so this proposes we do 3 instead of 2. We've already got 2 in the budget, we're proposing to increase that by another penny.
So in total, increase with kerosene, gasoline, whatever you're talking about,
3 cents a gallon.
3 cents a gallon.
So 20-gallon tank of gas is 60 cents every time you go in.
So when the little old man or little old lady in my district goes to or anybody else's district, he's not going to see an increase at the pump right now.
Well, that just means to say, we don't collect it from the station, we collect it from the hauler. So certainly, as you said, it
You will
might
see
be
an increase
passed
at the
on.
pump from the
But
supplier.
you're probably gonna see an increase at the pump of 6 cents rather than 3 cents.
Well, yeah, let me ask you about that, and I want to just, I know we went over that, but you know, when I know to listen at you, when you get on TV and you say something, I know you get heard to the grapevine, and, what about if the state does come in and offer that tax? One time you were saying you would suggest that we roll back out, I mean.
Certainly
They have that choice.
It's problematic that they're gonna do it. It's also a challenge because the way the formula works today, 80 to 90% of the dollars that's generated go to the counties. Only 10 or 20% come to the cities, which over the last 40 years, cities are paving a lot more streets than the counties have. And so our conversation is not necessarily so much the state, it's between the cities and counties to get a more fair share. So what I said was that if in fact the state puts in a tax and our net to us is what we expect from our increases, we could perhaps, again, subject to your decision, roll it back. You wouldn't necessarily, you could roll back 1, you could roll back 2, or you could roll back 3.
Well, the only reason I ask you that, because I think sometimes all these brilliant minds up here, excluding one, has good intention, but I don't think sometimes we articulate in the most effective manner to our constituents. And so sometimes our constituents, the ones who are not just trying to raise hell, but our constituents who are really concerned, you know, if they know, I said before, I don't think they have any objections, but, and I know nobody is clairvoyant and has a crystal base or whatever you look for. Whatever. We call them, fortune teller, yeah. But doesn't the county have the authority? Because I'm not talking about the state. The county has the authority to levy a tax too.
They have the authority just recently given to them to raise it up by 5 cents, up to 5 cents. An additional 5 cents, because they're 1 today. I think they're 1 today.
We want to be prudent when we go out and tell our, when we go to our associations what it will be.
We have to.
Yeah.
And
Okay. So,
reality,
what would be our position? We want no votes on it. What would be our thought if the state would raise the tax on gasoline, the county raised the tax, and we would get somewhat kind of in the range of what we are getting now? Would we be subject? I know we can't vote on it, but how do people feel about that? Would we be subject to rolling it back? Or
Let me
once
just
we
say
got
this.
it, I mean, nobody.
I would propose that. What the city council does would be up to them. We have to have that. It has to be the money net to us.
when you just.
I have another question.
Yeah, but,
Okay. On the increase in sanitation salaries of $2 million, is that on top of the other increase that we were already giving? Because I thought the whole thing started that we were trying to get.
The budget took them out.
We took $2 million out, we're putting it back.
Okay, so you all had taken out the increase for them. I thought we had the meeting.
They took the numbers.
in your budget that you got.
Oh, so basically you're saying the $2 million, you all were thinking that those people were not gonna be there?
Right.
Expense.
What we did is we said 25% of the salary expense is what we would get to in an attrited fashion over a period of time. So what
Okay.
we're doing now is adding back that $2 million.
All right, now also, okay, going to the street maintenance. So basically, when we give you all $100,000, you're saying that you all are now gonna put $200,000 with it?
That's right.
So when we give you the 100,000, that's all that you all do?
No, well, no.
But here's what I'd like to see, instead of just putting it in the general fund, because here's what happens. Instead of putting it in street maintenance, I would like to see that money put in our 618 account, so that when it comes down to getting our roads paid, it's not used elsewhere in other districts and say, hey, because for example, I was trying to wait for some roads to get paid when I first started, almost 2 years before they finally got to District 5. So what I'm saying is, in the interim, we can go through 2 budget cycles and that money can be used elsewhere and our streets can't get paid. Because you know what's gonna happen is, I don't hear any increase in, if we're gonna increase it by almost 3-fold, then you need to increase the personnel to make sure that we can be responsible. Because if you keep it now, even at $100,000, some of us are still waiting 18 months. So what I'm saying is, it has to be where you're gonna have to hire more people so that when we do put that money in, that's why I'm proposing that instead of 3 cents, we talked about 5 cents and use that money to hire more people so that we can pay more roads. I'm talking about the gas increase, because right now, even if you do triple it, you still can't get to the roads and the roads still not get paid.
Yes, we can. Chris, where is he? Chris Conway? William, at $3 to $3.5 million, we can, with our forces and the purchase of equipment that we've got planned, we can handle that. If you try to go outside in a private contractor fashion, you've got to have a full set of.
Oh, I agree. Hold on. I'm in agreement with you on that.
But
thus
you're
far,
gonna spend 3 times more money.
I agree with you on that. What I'm saying, I haven't heard you saying with the plans and purchases that you're gonna do. When you explained it, I didn't hear that you all were planning on increasing the personnel in order to be able to meet the workload that may triple in the event that we get.
We can handle 3.5 million.
But I'm just saying now, hey, we can't get to that right now because we got to do all these other roads, and depending on when you fall, let me tell you what happened. Okay, so hold on, let me tell you my experience. Now, all right.
I can show you the data.
Okay, but I'm telling you what happened to me. All right, when I first got in, you all were behind, and it was almost 2 years before they finally got to it. And then when they got to it, I requested, I said, since you got to me last, because you got everybody else, and I was on the back end, I said, could you please put me on the front end this fiscal year, which you did. And so you were able to get mine first. But so I know that meant somebody else had to wait too. So I'm just saying there's a wait right now, and I don't think what I see.
Talk to me.
Well, let
Talk
me
to me
just,
about why you paid what you paid.
well, let me just tell you how the paving plan has come up with. First of all, it is a 12-month plan.
Yes.
We can't get all 9 districts in October,
Yes.
and some are gonna be in September.
Yes.
I mean, we're working on that as we speak for the FY 2018 paving plan. We're running to the end of the paving that we had programmed for 2018. And yes, you talk about you were in September. Your next pay were in October. You were the last of the previous fiscal year and the beginning of the next previous fiscal year. I think when you first got in, we were towards the end of the Poorly Rated Streets program, which was not equitably distributed amongst all the council districts, and we were getting rid of all of the paving in other districts. District 7, District 3 were heavily weighted because they had the poor streets at that time. And
Okay.
that's, I believe, what happened when he first came in. We started on a program where it is now equitably distributed. We come up with a plan that we coordinate with each of the council members each year to talk about what streets do you want paved, and we set out to do that. Again, all of mine aren't going to get done in October, but over the course of the year, over the 12-month period, we will get to all of those.
And here's what I'm saying. I'm saying if it's sitting in the general maintenance fund, street maintenance fund, and you all have waited something, then my portion of that extra 200 to 300,000 can get used to do something else. What I'm saying is so that we can make sure that we control and at least the money is distributed equitably, not the work.
So let me speak to the mechanics of how the finance office does that. So when we come up with the paving plan, they put all of those funds, again, you're gonna contribute 100 to get 300, right? He will put that $3 million worth of funds into a paving project, and that is what we charge everything, and it's all accounted for in the district in terms of what we do. It's out on open data, the streets that we do and don't do, those are all out there, and that's how mechanically we do that.
That's right.
Let me ask you
For the
this.
last 2 years, we haven't had that situation. Every district they put in 100, they got 160. Now you're gonna put in 100, you're gonna get 300, and we feel like we've got the manpower to get 3 million, 3 point.
Okay, and then there's just one more question.
It was to me for a long time, and I started keeping up. Once I have selected my streets, there's something that comes back and says, Councilman Bollinger, we've done streets 6, 7, and 4 already in your district, and this is the timeline on the other. I never know when it's done until I go right to look for that.
Okay, so right now today on open data, where you go out there, we've started a situation where when your street is done, it's green. When your street is under and in process, it is yellow, and when it's not done, it's red. So the streets that we haven't done are red, yellow, green, that sort of thing, so we keep up with all those.
No, that's what I said. Before we just started doing that, my first few years here, I had to look, because I didn't understand how the system worked.
Yeah, we weren't necessarily communicating that back right to you, because we knew it was a 12-month process, so we were just trying to tell you, in the 12 months, it's gonna get done, and we'll work through it that
Okay,
way.
so, you're saying that you're gonna put, what, 3 million into that street maintenance account? Because here's
Into the paving.
Here's the question. I remember, now I don't know, if you can tell me where it came from, I don't know which pot of money it came out of, but right there in front of the Biscuit State in that little roundabout, did that come from the street maintenance fund?
Well, first of all, that was the Tallapoosa Street two-way conversion. That was Curly Ray Street at the time.
Okay.
Now, they did redo that intersection.
What part of money did it come out of? Did it come out of street maintenance?
I don't remember. I think it was part of a, it was a different fund as far as I remember.
It would not be part of the funds attributable to.
Because you see what I'm saying, say with that money just sitting there, we about to finish this fiscal year, and then you say, you know what, we haven't gotten all these streets, but let's take 200,000 and let's do this
But on
because.
your 618 account, if you go back and look at it, they have a rollover. Every year it rolls over. Whatever you got left in that account will roll over the next
Yes.
year. It rolls over every year. And it
No, that's
just
what
does that.
Yes, sir. But what I'm saying is this, I just want to make sure that, I know you always say we have a more equitable way, and some districts get it, you know, so I just want to make sure that in District 5, if I got 300,000, that 100 of it don't go to District, you know,
No,
7.
We will not do that.
Absolutely.
So in other words,
got the same amount.
if I don't get my roads paid, that 300,000 rolls over, then the next year, I got 600,000, so maybe I can get more done. All I'm saying is, if that's the case, and you all say you're gonna do it,
You're gonna get
then why not just put it in
300,000.
our city council 618 account, because that's what it's gonna get anyway, but at least, if we wanna move it out, you all gotta ask our permission. And I'm saying that way,
Oh,
we
no,
are,
no.
if that's what you all say you're gonna do anyway, then why not put it in that account?
The 618.
So you can take money out of
fund is
618 without
that's
asking?
ordinance. No.
Yeah.
We would never do that. Well, the only time we've, like for instance, we asked you guys, would you contribute to paving the zoo parking lot? We asked you guys if you would contribute to paving the parking lot there at the Patterson Field.
Yeah.
Those are a couple of projects that
I remember that.
And I personally never said.
That's why you can't
Look
park there.
I looked at mine and it's gone, but you know,
Yeah.
I guess I got some quid pro quo, I guess.
But here's what I'm saying, I hear what you're saying, for example, the reason why I would like to see the money there, because there's other things that I'm thinking we can probably use the 618, I mean,
Absolutely.
which is,
Yeah.
for example, I understand we don't take care of ditches anymore.
Some of them. If
Well,
you're on the east
apparently-
side,
Mr. Green, all you have to do is amend the ordinance.
That's what I'm saying, I mean, I wanna make sure that, you know,
Make
if
it say
I
what
see
you
a
want to
ditch that
say.
has been cut all summer,
So it's a moot point.
that I can call and then maybe get somebody to do that, maybe out that extra 618 money.
You can do that.
You can do it.
But the money's not in my 618, it's in the street maintenance.
Mr.
fund.
Green, all you gotta,
It's in 618.
all we gotta do is amend
Still
it.
get 618.
Don't be in 618.
My question is this, when the new budget year rolls over,
It rolls in
and
there.
I get my Excel little spreadsheet y'all sent me, and am I gonna see that increase
Every month.
in that account?
Every month.
No.
So after all these numbers shack out, is each district only getting like 40 extra?
Well, wait,
No.
but again, the way it works,
Okay.
you put 100 in, and we give you 150. So that
Normal.
extra 50
No.
cut.
Not right now.
160.
Now you can give 200 more.
But y'all see what I'm saying? I'm saying we need extra money, some
That's
systems
what I
are
was
working.
asking, you. If we put up
We need
100,
extra
y'all
money.
normally do 160, now it's gonna be 200.
It's gonna be 300.
He is just trying to.
Now you put 100, you're gonna get 300. Well, it doesn't flow from the 60.
You already have a wide education.
The bottom line is, the bottom line is this.
The way you're proposing it, you would put in 160 and you would get 160.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if we got 300,000 each year allotted for our district for paving.
You don't.
Then oh, no, wait. What I'm saying is, if you say, hey, we're gonna pave these 10 streets, Mr. Green, it's gonna be $270,000. We fund the whole 270, and you all don't have to put anything with it. That's what I'm saying. Right now, you all say you're putting 160 with it. But what I'm saying is,
It's either you're pregnant or you're not.
they put 60 with it?
It's coming from the same fund.
No, that was FY18 and FY18.
FY18 is one thing, 19 is a whole different ballgame.
All right, I'm just trying to, like
We're working
I
on
said, some
today,
streets, some
19.
districts need more than others.
Wait. There's not a district here that hasn't come to me and said, I need a little extra money to get something done. That's why you guys in the mayor's office need to be communicating, because there's not a one of you, with maybe the exception of Councilman Bell, that we have not gone in and added some money to that for you guys to be able to do it. Richard's the best at doing that. He comes to me all the time and says, I need to get this, I need to get that.
I'm trying to figure out where mine's been at.
We've had Tracy.
I knew it.
But we don't take it from
Somebody
you.
tell him who I
We don't
am.
take it from you.
Yeah, I
You
know.
gotta remember,
But
you gotta remember, everybody, there's 10 buckets here, okay? Each one of them got a bucket, he got a bucket too.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he's paying out of his bucket, it's like you're paying out of your bucket, but he's paying the centralized stuff, you know?
And Mayor, nothing against you, but why is there 10, Charlie?
Well, because he has to pay streets that are no voters
And
on,
he's got a
okay?
lot more miscellaneous money than we got.
Not for
Not really,
paving.
it's not really.
Most
Not
of those
paving.
are for
No.
economic development stuff.
No, your paving money is, it ain't there.
What you saying, man? Speak up.
I'm just saying, if the mayor wants to pay streets, he ought to run city council.
I just think.
I didn't know I
I paid more streets with money than you've ever thought about paying.
I agree, because I ain't got none. That's pretty simple, and we will write it, and we'll figure it out.
I mean,
Yeah, let's look it
bottom
up.
line is, let me tell you a problem you got right now. H&R Point has not been paid in years, okay? You got people working out there that need to be able to get to their work, and we don't pay the damn streets.
Whose district is that?
It's in District 4, okay? But he's got people, he been paying personal streets where voters were at. Our whole deal is about voters. That's where the mayor has to come in and say, okay, I'm gonna vote, I'm gonna take care of the people that, where they're not voters. Because there's a lot of businesses in town, we need to pay them on streets. Lomax, streets in there, Carmine, you know, there's a lot of streets we don't have voters on. And we always work for voters first.
Charlie, nobody's arguing, we can make life
Plus,
out
we've
of
been
it.
doing my point,
since
isn't it?
time immemorial.
No, I know,
I didn't start
but I understand Mr. Green's
Okay,
point.
y'all understand where we're going?
Hey, yeah, and look,
But
once
the
again,
district pays for that, though.
here's what I like to say. Well, I appreciate the fact that you all do add money to it, and I know you all do that. And I know we don't pay 100% of the cost. All I'm saying is that I would like to be more responsive to the citizens that come to me as opposed to, so one of the issues is, I appreciate the extra money, but at the same time, I want to make sure that when you get the extra money, it's not the same in the sense that, okay, we requested the street, then I gotta wait 6 or 7 months because you can't handle the extra
Hey,
money.
you remember the,
Nine districts.
I'm not saying I know it, but I'm saying with
Right
more money,
there,
you
right there.
should
Answer
increase.
that question, because the point being is, you want it in 6 months, he's telling you, if you.
Oh, no, I'm in agreement, but I'm just saying, I just wanna make sure that with the extra money,
That if he doesn't use it, that you keep it.
well, yeah, and it rolls over
You're
and
gonna roll
over. Cause
over.
right now,
There hasn't been
no,
a
the
year
extra
that
money
we
would be in the
haven't
general.
done it.
No.
Hold on, here's what I'm saying, listen, here's what I'm saying. If we put that extra 200,000 in the street maintenance fund, and then it's not used, it rolls over in your fund. I don't look at my fund and see that I got $600,000.
How many times we gotta say it's going to 618?
You saying that?
Going to 618.
No, you said right now, it says street maintenance.
618.
It says
Doesn't
increase
say, it doesn't say
in
it in
street
the
maintenance.
ordinance. so
It
it's
goes
not-
into
It says
a
increase in street
Goes
maintenance.
in the street maintenance fund.
That's not
match the
618.
618 funds into the paving account.
Okay, so if I don't get anything paid, I'd like to see that 300 roll over to 600
And
next year.
here's what would happen. First of all, that's not gonna happen. You will get paid, period. But if
I
you
mean, I see you doing a
don't,
bad
the
job.
money,
Just saying
the
just-
money would go to
it
the
takes a
payment
while.
account. You would still show 300.
Well, listen to this, please. He's trying to explain what's gonna happen.
The money we have in the pavement account in street maintenance would get transferred to the pavement fund. If for some reason they didn't get to you, like they have gotten to everybody for the last 2 years, it would be in the pavement account and it would get, it's not in the general fund, it would go to our general, our fund balance, it would be available to finish.
Allocated
the
to
payment in
district,
October.
whatever it is.
Right.
All right, okay, whatever.
Well, here's what I will say. I emailed each of the council members the list of streets that we proposed. I also emailed you the list of streets that are on the poorly rated list that you could mix and match and do whatever you want to, if you want to go against our proposed, our recommendation. And we will commit that in FY19, those streets will get paved in your district. If they do not, they will get paved in fiscal 20. If it goes that way and that money will not be spent, it's not going to be that we wouldn't get to it because we didn't have money. It would be time. But in each of the last, like you say, 3 years, they've got paid. So
Okay, so with increased paving, we will have increased capacity to pave more streets because we got more money.
We could do the $3.5 million that's allocated to in the budget.
So far, in the last 2 fiscal years, we have not put enough money in paving to approach capacity. That's what I'm telling you. We're saying, we only have $1.5 million. That's all we're gonna pay. So we had some problems, we did North Crackle Park Line. We did some other projects where the paving crew was, available to be used.
I just want to bring it up, make sure.
Can I say,
Okay.
one other thing, mention one thing, to the city council. To the extent that we have, man, I'm the one that usually does that.
Well, everybody's got side conversation, nobody knows what's going on.
To the extent, William, that the city council feels,
What now?
to the extent that the city council feels that, it needs to do, an ordinance, to the extent that the city council feels that it doesn't, hold on. The appropriation and the vote of the budget lies within the strict discretion of the city council.
Right.
So no disrespect about it. You don't have to go and if you feel this council as a whole, you don't have to feel like you begging and thanking. I mean, I'm not saying that. But if you feel that there's a problem, I don't think there's anything to say that this money goes into the 618 account and be used for 618 account. If you feel like that, so I'm not suggesting that you do. But if you got any reservation about it, as far as city council, we can do it. Any disagreement?
Whatever. Okay.
Charlie, I got a
Okay. Lynn, you?
Yes, sir.
Give me some information.
The 500,000 that we added back in for the Saturday, is that taken out of this somewhere? You know, where we're.
National standard.
Yes,
That's out?
it's out.
Okay.
But did it go back in? Because I know it was in.
It didn't go back yet.
We only deducted $2 million, which included the 500,000, so we're adding $2 million back. We basically get back to where we were.
Should there be one more?
Exactly. Same place.
Lynn, originally, the sanitation payroll deduction was $2.5 million, but he only deducted $2 million to add the Saturday.
Oh,
okay.
So
That's
he
where I
put the $2
put
million
All
back,
right.
the Saturdays are out.
Okay.
Going to school. Raise your hand.
And I have one more, I
It's got- Lynn,
have
got
one
Okay,
more,
go ahead.
Charlie. And Mayor, I know we've had this conversation, about 3 cents versus 4 or 5 cents. Yes, from the gas tax. This 3 cents only is gonna get us 27 miles of streets today. And as you heard Chris say the other day, we're 55 miles, roughly each year, we're falling behind. Is this are we gonna make a dent in this? Do we wanna look at a 4 cent?
You're gonna have the capability with the funds that are available for paving to do a minimum of 35 miles, a minimum of 35. That's based on 100,000. Now, lots of streets here don't have curbs and gutters and sidewalks. And if you don't have curbs and gutters and sidewalks, then it comes to 60 or 70 or 80.
Right.
And so on balance, it's 100. But you're going to have a minimum of 35 to 40,000 plus what we do either in MPO funding, good one, or Aldite funding. For instance, again, Court Street. Court Street will be paved in 2019 from Fairview to the Boulevard. If I'm not mistaken, Chris, is that 1.8 million?
The match on it's probably between $800,000.
So you call it 900,000. We got to get that money from elsewhere, not from your money. But if we were consistent, we'd be charging his district and his district, because 3 districts put up 40,000 just to do the overlay. So there are a lot of other streets that get paved that are in the poorly rated that we don't pave, the state does.
Right. And I understand that.
So it's not just 27 or 35.
But I heard you say we could do a minimum of 35 miles.
We could do
What's the maximum we can do?
I think our capability is probably around that number. What he's saying is, I mean, right now, your maximum is $3 million. That's what our program is.
With this today? Well, that's what I was talking about. Are we going, can we do 42 miles of roads?
Not with our current, not in a 12-month cycle. No.
But if you didn't have to do curbs and gutters and sidewalks, yeah, you could, but you know that's not going to be the case.
Okay. Anything else?
Sanitation, how many households are we figuring?
65,000.
64.
That's somewhere around 64,000.
So, once again, you're still at 3 cents? Here's the reason why I would like to go. Okay, here's the reason why I'd like to go to 5 cents. I mean, for example, we need street sweepers, those type of things. I mean, there's those type of things that we do quality of life. And then for like on between Norman Bridge Road and between Court Street and Narrow Lane Road, that's state highway. But Parks and Recs has to cut that. Parks and Recs has a schedule, and there's several other places throughout the city that state that we have to cut, but because of the schedule and inability to cut more, it only gets cut once, maybe twice in the summer. So you go over there now, you got grass in the middle that's almost 2 feet tall. And so I called and asked to cut it. He said it's scheduled. So there's capacity. And what I'm saying is there's a lot of things that need to be done, I think, that would add to the quality of life, especially on the west side, in terms of making it more attractive to investors. When they come and drive down the street, the grass is cut and it looks good. I'm talking in the general area. Nobody's going to come in and put money anywhere near the west side with it looking like nobody cares and it's on the way down. That's why we're trying to get the extra money, and we want the ability to be able to at least contract it out or give the city ability to get extra capacity to be able to handle that. So instead of cutting it twice a summer, maybe they can cut it at least once a month. So those are the type of things that, now we threw 5 cents on it, and I know we dropped it back because of the requirements that we were looking at. But I'm saying there are some additional things that we, and I say we, the city council, can do more, as well as give the city what they need in order to get it done.
Let me tell you this, I think the mayor Barry have looked to see how competitive we'll be, and how much gas tax we can put on. Okay? And the theory is that we'll be competitive at 3 cents, we won't be competitive if we get much higher.
Okay, well, let's go to, I threw the number out, increasing garbage service at $5. And that's been a number that I just grabbed out the air. But people seem to be okay with $5. You know, so look, I understand that, but some areas, at least in my district, it looks bad. And I'm just trying to be able to be responsible to get this done.
William, we got about 300 or so dilapidated houses. We started 3 years ago trying to get those down. When we finish this fiscal year, we will have essentially done that. Now we got more dilapidation, that we gotta get to. You can't fund enough money to cut every inch of grass, to tear down every dilapidation in a 1 year period of time. And the reason that we've taken on the additional responsibility from the state is it never get done.
Yep.
And we do have more equipment now that we're doing a better job of. Tom Pierce is in fact in charge of trying to figure out how we can get grass cutting under one organization, because it frustrates me that we have 3 separate organizations doing grass cutting. We have on the interstate, we're cutting from the 85 out to, I guess, is it the boulevard, or do we go further? Yeah, because we didn't want the grass.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and so my point is, there isn't enough money to do everything you want to do when you want to do it. And you also got to remember that only in the last 2 or 3 years have we had any wherewithal, aside from just keeping our head above water during a recession, and at the same time get our bond ready such that we've got reserves that merit good government at $26 million.
All right, first of all, I know that.
And it's my job, and it's his job, to balance the whole enterprise. And I understand your job is to get elected in your district. That's why if we work together, we can make that happen. But I can't cut every strip of grass every week.
I agree. First of all, I agree. And when I remember when we first came in, we knocked it from 70,000 up to 400. And I think this year 450. So I think we're doing a good job on it. But what got that done was additional funds. So what I'm saying is, here's what I'm saying. I understand that, and I'm not at the state. Maybe the state pays more attention to, and nobody in this room would disagree that some areas in this city, when you just drive down, looks a little bit neater than other areas. And I'm not talking about, hold on, wait.
That road is awful. Right?
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about neighborhoods, because that goes to ownership. I'm talking about the general areas. So what I'm saying is, the same increase that we did to get rid of the dilapidated homes, I think there needs to be some increase so that we can get you all, the city, what they need to do the job that the state's not doing. All I'm saying is, I know that they have their regular parks and recs cutting, but then they say, you know what, we along with that, cutting the parks, Monroe Park and everything else, we can only get to this on this date. And so what I'm saying is, with
Street maintenance cuts.
increasing elsewhere and have that money go to something so we can say, you know what, Spotty, can you cut this week? You go, yeah, I can get it, as opposed to it's scheduled. So that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying we need a little bit more, and I think if we want to ever turn around the entire city, then I think we're going to have to at least make it look better, so when people drive down, they don't see something that looks like nobody cares about until they get to a certain area. Absolutely. Then it looks better. Then what they do, they put all that money over there.
I absolutely agree with you, but the other thing from a management standpoint is you don't want, just like I don't want 3 organizations, and I haven't wanted 3 organizations cutting grass that we control. I don't want another 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 organizations out there that are independent, that are trying to mesh with what all we're doing.
I'm not saying get 3 organizations. I think the administration of it. No, I'm saying get more funds for whatever organization you got, so that they can either expand more people, more equipment, to cut more than they're cutting in certain areas.
You want more funds for fire. You want more funds for police. You want more funds for parks and rec. You want more funds. Everybody wants and needs more funds.
And here's what I'm saying. I think that Councilman Lee touched it. He said people are going to be upset by any increase, and if you're going to do it, add an extra penny, and then we put that into something. You understand? I mean, 3 cents, they're gonna be upset about that. 4 cents. I mean,
well, one thing too, we know there's $100,000 in the budget to study a significant revenue change, and so what we were looking for is, the minimum we need this year to get us to that point. I think 4 cents per gallon is the highest gas tax in the state. I think 4 is the peak. So we're already going to make a significant increase, and to double that.
like I said, it doesn't all have to be there. I mean, okay, back off. I say $5. Let's go to $4.
You guys will make the decision. I'm just throwing that out for consideration.
Well, I think what we got to do is somebody got to put up a resolution or amendment to the presented ordinance and say, okay, this is what we want. Then you got to get 5 votes to pass it.
Okay.
In my area, he would not mind paying more money for the sanitation. Gasoline at 3 cents is a good deal, as far as my people are concerned. $5 for sanitation. Nobody's hiccuping about that.
Why'd we, how'd we get to $2?
Trying to get
The minimum-
$6 million.
The minimum we needed
Back into it.
to cover the.
But I found out something today, gentlemen, that I didn't know. We started working the budget process 3 months ago. We needed $2 million to level out our healthcare needs. Now we need $3 million.
3.2.
So the negative on our healthcare is going up, and our employees' health insurance is getting more and more expensive on a daily basis. So all these taxes are not going anywhere except take care of our employees and make sure our streets are better. So all this is not about fluff or anything else. It's about fixing, getting oxide addiction.
Oh, I agree with you, but I'm
So
saying.
what do y'all think about a $4 or $5
Well-
sanitation? Is that too much or
What you think?
increase?
Well, what you think?
Before you say, let me ask this. You know, if you wanna drive a Honda, you pay Honda price. If you wanna buy a Mercedes, you buy a Mercedes price. This is gonna happen every year. We gonna come back and we gonna nickel and dime, and we gonna, 2 cents and 3 and 4 cents, 5 cents people. And with progressive taxes, always the tax is gonna be on the people who, I'm not saying it's inherently wrong, but you know, when you get a tax there with everybody, I mean, if I make $100,000 a year and I buy $500 worth of groceries, I'm gonna pay the same as somebody who makes $3. Right? Yes. So what we want, and I agree with what Mr. Martin said the other day, and I'm agreeing with everybody. Listen, if our residents want, we want the Cadillac. Okay, we gotta pay for it. And the only way you can pay for it is if through auto pay for no tax. Now, I know people don't want this, but we wouldn't have to do this every year. We wouldn't have to do this every year, that we come back and argue about 3 cents and 4 cents. We can go on and do it, and that we'll make.
We're
They're gonna do it in 6
The
weeks.
study is in process to get it done, and we need to know what
We
we're
can do it
going
next
to
week.
do.
No, you can't.
Can't do it, they can't.
Oh, you got it floated, but I'm saying.
No,
we can
let me just,
What is
it?
let me explain. Let's just take, and I don't want to pick on anybody, let's just take on your profession. Your profession would pay none occupational tax. You
That's
do a
why you
business
for it.
license
I'm
tax.
all right with that.
Somehow you gotta balance that.
And your license is one of the
Oh, my
lowest.
license is based on how much money I make.
Well,
I don't make that money.
Capped.
Capped at $1,200.
Capped at $1,200. That's where you gotta look at all of the revenue streams. It took the previous administration a year and a half just to reorganize the business licenses, and they went after it, and it was wrong, and they had to come back and redo it.
So what are your suggestions? Then if we can't, you see what I'm looking at, and maybe I'm wrong, I drove this highway a long time ago, up and down the road. But I just say what's good for the goose. Is that, it's good for the goose?
Who's for the game?
Good for the gander.
So what's the game plan?
Well, here's the game plan. We need roads, we need streets paved, we need quality of life. And we got 65 or 70,000 people coming to this city every day, utilizing the resources that these citizens have to pay for. And I know it's very early in the city, but I just think that some of these people are not going to buy gas here in Montgomery. They're not going to buy groceries in Montgomery. They're going to not come to the doctors that much. They're going to come in to their job. And I think, me personally, whether I would get promoted or whether I would get re-elected, it wouldn't matter to me. But we're doing something for the citizens of here, because eventually there's something I learned in science. There's a saturation and there's a super saturation. You're not going to be able to get any more money out of the people on taxes because they don't have any money. And the people who aren't working don't pay taxes. I mean, on the occupational tax. If you're not working, you're not going to have to pay a tax. So I don't mind, take the lawyers up. Lawyers ought to pay. lawyers ought to pay, doctors ought to pay, car dealers ought to pay a little bit more too, and, investors ought to pay.
Bottom line, Mr. Bill, bottom line, you gotta know what you're doing before you do it. It's a little more complicated than just passing them off.
I know we gotta go.
I think in this budget, we're gonna do it.
Got a legislator right here. We got, one just left here. We got more people on our side now than you have.
I don't think that's the problem.
Let's go to a city.
Bottom line is you gotta figure how you do it, so you do it right. You don't wanna rush into something and not do it right. Okay, let's talk about it for a minute, okay.
Cause I gotta pay occupation tax for my people, it's Birmingham, Opelika, Auburn.
Right.
25 cities out of state.
1% of your rate.
Rate's not,
Forever and ever.
It's obvious that it's time for that to happen.
Okay, that's just my little thought.
Let's finish up our revenue, because we talk about the revenue, then you know what you got in the budget, okay? Because revenue's here, will cover the budget as it's put together according to the various numbers here, because he just takes these impact changes and your descriptions here, and makes those adjustments in the budget, and then it all budgets out because of those particular increases in revenues. And those increases there. So if you want to change these two numbers, that's what we need to talk about right now, okay? Anybody wants to go to 4 cents on, $4 on the garbage collection? Let me say one other thing about garbage collection. Garbage collection has an exemption for certain people, okay? And I don't know how many we got exempted, Diane.
One year I've got about 600.
600 exemptions?
What is this exemption?
Who is it? Who are they?
Well, Diane, tell me what the exemption is.
There's a state exemption called Social Security exemption, whereas if a household has only Social Security as the income, they are exempted from garbage service payment, and no one reimburses before that.
So you're saying if you got two retired people and all they got is Social Security?
The Social Security is the only income in that household. Yeah, and it's controlled by the state, not by the city. And I'm not reimbursed for that. It's exempt from paying garbage service.
But it is available. My point is, it's available.
It's available.
For low-income people, it's available.
Yeah, we need to let folk know.
But I got another question on this Social Security, but is it an income threshold of Social Security, or is it just if they only collect Social Security? Because some may only collect $700-800 a month, some may collect $1,500 a month, $200 a month. Is it just Social Security across the board? Or
It's just Social Security is certified by the state health department before the applications to me once the income.
Now, the health department.
By the health department, and once they have to verify the income through the health department. The health department.
Probably has something to do with their Medicaid.
Yes.
Probably ties in Medicaid.
I think this, even veterans ought to be,
Yeah, they ought to get a lot of other stuff too. You must be a veteran, Mr. Bill.
yeah, I think all this ought to give veterans, disabled veterans.
So we back.
All right, let's go back.
What do you want to do with sanitation?
All right, here's what I propose.
What do you say?
I propose, instead of $2, go to $3.
All right?
That will bring, I'm just gonna use a round number, 720,000.
Yep.
That will,
750.
I'm just saying, and then divided by 9, that will give us an extra 80 to each. I want to see go to.
Give it to sanitation, then.
Here's what I'm saying. I'm trying to find money so that I can get like Southern Boulevard cut more often. So that when I request, we do something similar like, hey, can you cut? Because I can show you email text. I say, hey, when you gonna cut? You say it's scheduled. What I'm saying is we need to be able to
Sub it out. If you can't get it done in the house and the.
well, I can't see a contractor subbing out. I mean, cutting Southern Boulevard. I mean, I don't know. I think that probably best, like the mayor said, handled by the city. So, do you all have the capacity, or do we just need to take all that money, 720, give it to your 3 divisions that's cutting, and then we have them schedule more cuts in areas that need it more?
Frankly,
That's what I'm saying.
Where's Chris? Let me have Chris, Tom, and Scott. Can I have Chris, Tom, and Scott?
I'm just trying to make Montgomery crazy. I'm trying to make Montgomery crazy.
These three individuals have some responsibility in cutting the grass.
Yeah. I mean, we
Tom has been working now for 6 or 8 months. He worked for 2 years to try to put it all under one act. Because we still have to integrate with the state. So, if we had, 750,000 more dollars, is there equipment that we could buy that would facilitate us cutting the grass that we have responsible for in your
Little grass is thick, though, thick as well.
It's not just equipment, it's manpower. Yeah. Are you using temps to help with that or what?
My
Summer
sister-
temps, I mean?
Southern Boulevard. It's scheduled every 2 weeks. Now, we use a prison crew out there. And we got an employee with them. They start at one end, it takes them 2 weeks to get to the other end, and they start over. You have rain. We have months like May, and we have a lot of special events that we have to pull off. We have, this isn't a bad month, but it's a bad week. We've got people pulled off right now because we got the big football game Saturday. That we have to do a lot of things. But in general, the bypass is cut from one end to the other, so it wouldn't be.
But add to that, we are only responsible for the median.
That's correct.
We only cut the median.
That middle
State,
part.
Right.
Middle part.
So like,
we
we'll
planted
serve
trees.
Yeah, for example.
Planted
Oh, no, look, once again, I'm not trying to get on anybody. But I think everybody knows.
We do not cut shoulders on the road and outside.
All right, that's what I'm saying. So like, the shoulders, if you go to Rosa Parks, there's literally, I don't know what it is. You go look at Rosa Parks, there, it's this tall, and it looks like it's been there for a while. And it's thick.
That's Alabama DOT.
All right, so
If
what
we
I'm
can never
saying
get to it,
is,
then we can't get
the
to it.
Alabama DOT, for some reason, don't let it get like that over there on Taylor Road. And I'm talking, look, hold on, it's not the city, it's not the city. But what I'm saying is, this is some reason, some people in other organizations or levels seem to concentrate more on their general area. So what we need to do as a
I
city.
haven't seen them cutting Troy Highway, Taylor Road, Southern Bypass, Northern Bypass.
Yeah, 'cause that's the district city.
Look,
Outline.
okay, that's good. Okay, so let's just say the whole city's been neglected. What I'm saying is, no, I mean for sake of discussion, are we gonna just allow it because the state's not doing their job, and then people coming here looking to invest in Montgomery, looking like we don't care? I mean, if we got the opportunity to get it, then let's do it. And then when we do an occupational tax next year, then we get a really good influx of funds, then we start cutting. When I lived in Irvine, California, I don't know what, they didn't have it. That place, it was great. The city, sometimes we're gonna have to step because we know that, I can say, the county and the state.
taxes in Irvine, California.
We need, yeah, well, yeah. But we need growth. We can step up, Mayor, that's what I'm saying. We have the opportunity to
Let me
step up.
give you a perfect example. When we had all these state right-of-ways that were not getting cut. Chris came up with the idea that if we went to the state and got them to give us the money that they're spending on an annual basis, give it to us, we would then go augment it and cut it ourselves. That's what we propose. As high as the DOT director said, it's $150,000. Where it's gonna cost us $750,000. What's fair about that?
Okay, well, I mean, it's $1, $750,000. You just said it, Mayor, that's what I'm saying.
Well, first of all, you gotta go get a franchise agreement for them. They sometimes let you do it, sometimes they don't let you do it. Just the litter deal that we're doing on all the state routes through here, and we got the Red Eagle Honor Farm, and we got now what, 10 or 12 people. Well, we got 4 doing that. It took us 3 months to get a franchise agreement just to be able to do that, and they wouldn't let us cut it. So I'm telling you, it's a lot of bureaucracy that goes into all this kind of stuff.
Mayor,
and
I'm
just
not
throwing
even-
money at it is not going
I'm not even
to be
disagreeing
the
with you. Let's say, for example, you took the effort to go get that agreement, but if we don't put it in the budget right now, even if you got it, you can't do anything about it. If we do that, that's $750 that we can probably move to street maintenance or
Would you
pavement.
rather have a grass cutter or a firefighter?
We're not taking from that. We're just adding an extra dollar. See, right now, Mayor, you got the fire.
Mr. Jordan would tell you he needs 485 firefighters today. All we're funding is 415, I think.
All right, all I'm saying, Mayor, is it goes to quality of life. People feel better when they look around, things seem to be
I
cut
don't
and
disagree
clean.
with you. I am
And I'm
not.
saying, not take away from it. If you can't get that bureaucracy, get more firemen. Take that 750 and put it in the fire.
I tend to agree with you about the state not doing it.
We can do it.
I'm right through Florida, man, and it's clean, it's made, it's cut. You come in Alabama.
No,
Call your senator.
I think that.
Just try it.
Mark, then talk.
We're expecting, I think Mr. Green makes very good points, but I think that we can't see this as a conclusion. I thought that we were looking at this as something to stop at, that might get us to a point where we will consider a comprehensive. Comprehensive tax reform.
Okay.
That will generate the revenues that the city needs to do business. And so those questions that you have, I hope would be answered once we get to the point where we do the comprehensive tax reform that we need to do for the city. And we should be doing that very shortly.
I think it's good, yeah, because we can't solve all problems today. We gotta get to a point so we get to a point.
So we gonna leave the sanitation at 2 months?
And let it go to Baton.
Cause you got,
I think they have no
you talk
doubt.
about our neighbors, like take Millbrook, for example, we get one service day, $25 a month.
Well, I'm with you. I have no problem raising $29.
How much is one, 24?
What do you think?
In reality,
We're not gonna pick up any money on this. I mean.
yeah, you do, you pick up $750,000 every time you do $1.
Can we get into the budget, Charlie?
No, before we get to budget, I need to know where we got the money to.
Well, I don't know,
spend the
Charlie,
budget.
but this has to, I mean.
All right, let me listen. Talk to me about the budget.
Well, and I
I know you hadn't
understand,
looked at it before now.
Let's go.
and I know,
I looked at it.
All right, let's go. What you need? Talk to me.
I'd like to just go to the miscellaneous, Charlie, on page 35.
35.
I mean, you know,
All
we're
right.
sitting here scratching our head trying to come up with a bunch of money, and the responsibility of us is to pave streets, keep the trash up, police and fire. We have $9 million in other miscellaneous expenses. Why are we as a council not looking at cutting out some of this miscellaneous stuff? You know,
Give me a couple.
Charlie, I mean, just start, with the first page of them, and Barry can tell me, and I know some of them, like unemployment compensation, can't touch auditing services, advertising.
We did drop that $50,000 over the last year.
Right, but I'm just saying.
You on 35?
Yeah, 35, Charlie, is the,
Advertising is, Brenda, what you said?
At the advertise your,
New bills or.
How about calling your line items that we were talking about?
71671.
where you at?
71671.
That's unemployment compensation.
Okay, $121 in services.
Right.
You're the next.
Then professional advertising is $67,000.
All right, what's equipment rental, 73,711?
Fire hydrants.
They went up $150,000?
Yep.
We passed that 2 months ago.
I was gonna say, where were you?
Collector fees.
Collector fees, that's, fees from, Janet Buskey, for collecting.
Taking out taxes.
All right, keep going. Grocery,
Yeah, I have a hard time getting all of these.
We've led the state, and we do lead the state now in hotel occupancy. We just got the numbers in downtown and Eastgate, hit almost 80% occupancy. They're the ones that go out and get the horseshoe pitching contest and the cornhole picking contest and get the fire combat challenge here and get the community bowl.
Air Force.
And get the Air Force and so forth. That's the money that funds their marketing effort.
And if you look on the next page, there's another flat fee. From 78, 730. That started out, I think, in 2015, and it was $780, around $800,000. We gradually reduced, they were reducing it again to 25%, 330 to 250. To try to, so that their incentive is to go out and kill all the programs. At hotels, they get more money.
Well, now, let me just, I don't agree with, I just want some clarification, but I don't want to be someone who says, yeah, I don't believe what you're saying, but I know there's a change in do anything when Alabama State plays, it's bold here, and we packed that hotel. We packed that hotel.
Fred, if you would go ask Quentin Ross what the chamber does for the ASU deal, he would give you a different story.
Really?
They're out there negotiating reduced rates for that. They're assisting them with gifts and visitors and things. They roll out the cost for ASU Tuskegee when they come.
Okay, well, I sure want the people to come in and talk to me and tell me that.
Yeah.
We can even get, I can use my van and my SUV to take some people out of state. They feel that, you know, then you have any kind of service to get from the hotel all over state. I'm not arguing that.
Okay.
I'm just saying, worthwhile.
Montgomery Community Action, 9,000, that's the level number. Substance abuse, 10,000. Chemical addiction, 25,000. Agent authority, 21,000. Shakespeare, 475.
Now, one thing on the central YMCA, that's not a contribution to YMCA. That's a match, you know, employees and retirees, I mean, it's something that hopefully reduce our health benefits.
You got down, which one was that?
Central Y, 78,725.
We pay $25 for membership for all of our employees. Yeah. It's part of our health.
So these other agencies are agencies who don't kind of support Family Sunshine Center. You talk about the chamber line item 78,730. Boys and Girls Club. Final stop.
I see a couple of that we're not funding this year. Seemingly for the first time in every child protect, the Sickle Cell Foundation, those are relatively small amounts of money. And what do these organizations need?
We actually dropped them, I think, in 18. You see the budget was 18 last year. I don't think we dropped any this year.
They were dropped last year.
But they were funded, if you remember, through other sources. They had a big capital project. We ended up giving them $30,000 or $40,000 of.
That's child protection.
Yeah, that's right.
But what about Sickle Cell?
Can't answer that.
I think we need to try to restore it.
I'm not sure if they.
Some of these, I'm not sure.
As far as I know, it's still in it.
Well, let's put it this way. We didn't fund it, we didn't hear from it.
It is.
Medical care.
Let me just say, if they're here, they're legitimate.
And the medical care, which also is very small amount of money. How does that work?
That was, you know, it was Envision 2020. It's how we were funding Envision 2020 through Medicaid match through Jackson Hospital. Those Medicaid matches went away, and so therefore it went from the 80,000 down to 25, which is to get Envision 2020 through this year. Envision 2020 is disbanded. Vision 2040 is taking over that strategic planning, and that's the project that Robert Smith and Planning Next is involved in right now. It's funded in the budget to the tune of about $400,000.
Anything else on the page?
I got one thing, I love right to hear what you work with, Montgomery area councilman, I think they do a great job. But one of the things they do, they come down and they ask each council member for another, $1,000.
Just found a way to get some more money.
They all ask us for more.
Meals on Wheels, it's an expensive program. I think we probably had them at higher than 64 at one time. We reduced them down to that.
They do a good job. Okay, anything else?
I mean, Charlie, just on page 37, if you quickly add all those up, and they're all nonprofits, it's $500,000. On page 37, if you just add them up, and I just did it roughly in my head, you know.
Well, you got to look at.
Well, the chamber's not nonprofit. Well, I guess it is.
But again,
And we cut the chamber back from 330 to 250.
well, Charlie, we're trying to nickel and dime some of our boards and main streets.
What do you want to do, cut the chamber out?
We can cut them that 250. They're still getting 2.1 million. I mean, I'm just saying, we're asking for more money, but yet we're not making any great difficult decisions.
They're giving us a turnaround investment there. I mean, that goes back to Hyundai, all the economic development getting in that area, you know, that's a whole nother ballgame there.
Boy, they be doing that anywhere with 3.1.
It's also a
Now, they
similar
do
line
that,
item.
that's going back to the business.
I talked to Cheryl Thomas, and, my understanding, because her county does the exact same thing. 250 is flat number, 21%.
But just because people do things doesn't mean we have to do them as well.
Well, it's just a kind of a joint thing within the support.
Can someone tell us what the Montgomery County Board of Equalization is and what it does, and why we're funding it on an annual basis?
Who's that
Also,
with our annual?
the Board of Equalization, the South Central Alabama Development.
Where's you going, page 35?
It's on
35 top.
At the top of the page. From the Central Alabama Regional Planning and Development.
Yeah.
Are we contracted, do we have some kind of commitment statutorily to?
Honestly, those numbers are so small.
Well, that would be under Robert Smith.
I'm sorry?
Doesn't matter.
I think it's a statute. But
Now our long range planning, working with these guys over there in a mobile.
NPO, you mean?
Yeah, under the MPO.
It's not, no, it's not. Richard is talking to us.
78, 78.
Yeah.
What is that?
That's a help.
It's a deal where they go out to school and try to pull baskets, and kids that are having problems, they go back and back. And it goes to the attorney's office. All about this attorney.
Well, I don't want to talk about it.
He used to be in an organization that was, it's to help the local school system in truancy, to go and they try to catch them early when there's some discipline issues. The district attorney gets involved, the district attorney gets with the families. They have a wonderful success rate, but the numbers are very small. I think that would be fair to
It's
say.
a program designed in Mobile, and I think it's copied.
And now Huntsville's copying us.
It's got some.
So if you put 250,000, they can have more.
I want to ask one thing.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have a preface this because I go to church every Sunday. And, my wife don't have to make me go in my house every Sunday. So when I say this, I don't want to give any appearance that,
What are you talking about?
and I'm against religion. But,
Neighbors in Christ?
yeah, is that, I mean.
Neighbors in Christ goes out,
It's not really.
it's not really a church.
It's not a church, it's a community.
Building group.
They go in and fix homes up when they get broken into, and they pay for it all. You got a constituent, somebody broke into a house, tore it up, these are something to fix it. Okay?
So, but if we said neighborhood and Muslim, what we want to do that?
This is just really.
I know what I'm saying. Are we playing?
Throw
that bomb in.
All right, anything else?
Put it on vibrate.
What do you want to answer?
So everybody at the table
Must
is
be a class.
taking tax dollars and deciding which charitable organization to give it to. Okay with it.
With our,
Taking tax dollars, decide which charitable organization.
which one are you talking about?
I mean, what is listed here, the
One
one
listed there.
come before you.
Part of it can
I'll do what I learned.
you know, our job is to pay streets, fix sidewalks, sanitation, police. Another argument would be, so we shouldn't be giving all this money out the door to these organizations. And then the other argument, well, it does help the community overall at large. So there's two arguments.
It's a lifestyle issue. You just kind of, cost to it.
So you take away anybody giving land to somebody, you keep all the homes on the street, all you wanna do is raise taxes to cut rent.
Okay.
If we could find some means to support Fitzgerald, that would be
It'll be the new guy sitting there.
particularly because we are funding, we are helping the Shakespeare Festival. And they have grown over the years, and they have become more impactful over the years in terms of bringing people to the city with them and raising the city's profile. So I would think that if we could find a meager amount of support in our budget for them, to the tune of some $10,000 or something like that, the Fitzgerald Museum.
You know, Chris, one thing we try to do, like miscellaneous funds, the mayor, he tries to hit those things. We really try not to get another line item. We've got 10 organizations like that so we really like to get them away.
I do understand that, but I don't think they are.
Need to bring money and recognition, I guess.
I don't think they're as effective or as high profile as an organization like the Fitzgerald Museum. And I realized that when we came here a few years ago, there were 3 or 4 times more charitable organizations that had line items in the budget. And I do know that we see there are lots of folks who want to be a line item, but I think some will deserve it. And I think the Fitzgerald Museum.
I would be for that as well.
It would be my preference not to add here, but to support them in a way that would not increase budget, because we have, without being untruthful, we've said that it's very difficult to increase these type of organizations. They do, obviously, been working a lot better work in the past. You and others feel they need our support, we get that support. It's not because then we have no defense, it's everybody else. So everybody that comes in here that asks you for money, they can be candidates for the money.
We used to have everybody come to the budget hearing wanting money, or they didn't like your website, just about the deal. Did they do that this year also?
Well, oh yeah, we got a lot of letters. Oh yeah. Oh no, we got a lot of letters.
From Fitzgerald.
Yeah, no, they've been here, they've
They
reached
come to
out.
us. I know they come to us.
Yeah.
But did they come to the, and apply to the budget themselves?
I think we did get a letter from
Because they asked me to.
Did we not get a letter from Fitzgerald?
His museum?
We did last year. We did last year.
I know.
I know we always give
Julie
them
called
money.
and asked me. I told him you needed to go.
Again, my preference would be, we
Okay.
get them the money.
Let's go through this. Anybody else got any other questions, specific questions of the budget itself? Or do we need to go through line by line?
I don't think we need to do that, but what I'd like to do is propose something better.
Oh.
Snoop.
You mean to get work?
And maybe this is not really all that radical. It's just, I think, very common sense approach to an item that we have. I would like to take that $100,000 that has been earmarked for the Parker study to tell us what we need to do to generate more revenues. And take that $100,000 to strengthen our bonds organization, to elevate bonds to the neighborhood services department that we all want to see, and to take the money that would be paid to Parker, and it's a great organization, and I think it's wonderful that we want to support it with $100,000. But I'd like to see maybe 3 contract employees that would be called neighborhood specialists, that would become a part of the bonds organization, that would work with our council districts And I believe that with 3 employees, they could take 3 council districts each, that they could concentrate on a daily basis with current concerns and with the development of projects and the vision of these neighborhoods, and to work directly with the neighborhoods. And we would be fulfilling the promise and the objective of the consultant study that we did several months ago, that we have a full-fledged neighborhood services department that concentrates on the problems in our neighborhoods. I don't think we need to study the issue of how to generate revenues for the city. I think we already know that. I believe that we can do whatever analysis that's needed to make a determination as to how to carry that out, starting with the political will to put it on the table as to what needs to be done, and take the $100,000 and make our neighborhood services effort a lot stronger.
If I may comment, so we all understand, the 100,000 is not just for the park study. That's only going to be about 25 to 30,000. The example that we talked about earlier with various organizations, it's going to take, frankly, legal expertise to rewrite ordinances and to financial expertise that we don't have, all due respect to Barry, to recast our business licenses and things of that nature. And that, frankly, is probably going to use that $100,000 in and of itself. I know the last time when we looked at that 6 years ago, we engaged legal counsel as well as Parker, and that bill was $60,000, and we never got even to the implementation phase of that. So I just want, it's not $100,000 to Parker, it's only about 25 or so to Parker. The balance will be for legal as well as the financial, because as somebody's already indicated, if you do a 1%, in my view, you need to reduce our sales tax so that we will be more competitive than some others, so that we can get some sales over here.
Let me ask you a question, and Tracy's question. Haven't we moved bonds somewhere?
Bonds is actually under a Chris organization.
It's in the paint, it's
along with,
in the organization, so it's got more people in it already. It has more opportunity to touch neighborhoods or whatever.
Well, there's better coordination between all of the efforts with our Clean City. Clean City is under.
Clean City moved to sanitation, or into that area.
Under Chris Conway, and better coordination with bonds, et cetera. I think what he's talking about, though, is more of an ombudsman for 3 districts, if you will. And I'm not sure exactly how our interns are used, but we actually have 2 interns. Perhaps that intern or those interns, if we could, maybe those their job description could be modified to move into that. The people that we have there may not be the right people, so we might have to go, find some different people when those contracts come up. But that seems, we already got that existing.
In our process of inspections department with our new light issue we're dealing with our person there, is that all tied to bond somehow? Is there any connection there?
Well, they're all in the same organization. They're all in the quality of life neighborhood.
I guess my point is, I think we need more people looking at light.
Yes.
What you're looking for?
And I'm looking for clarity as to where's the go-to agency for neighborhood issues in the city of Montgomery. I don't think that's clear. And I don't think that Bonds has the resources that Bonds needs to do the kind of job that we need to look after our neighborhoods in the city. I think they do yeoman's work with what they have available to them. But I think that we don't give them the respect that they deserve by giving them the resources that they need to carry out a mandate to look after problems in our neighborhoods.
Let me respond. That is exactly the reason that we took it from a self-sustaining organization. We had it over at police for a while because it seemed to have some synergy. But now, and this is Chris's idea, that it's in this whole organization that Chris refers to, you know, as the Neighborhood Services Organization. And she, the bonds organization, has direct access on a weekly, if not semi-monthly basis. She interacts in the meetings that they have with the sanitation department, with the street maintenance department. Claire's always at the table on these neighborhood type scenarios. If I misstated what you...
No, they're actually physically located with 311. So bonds and 311 are physically co-located in 25 Washington. 25 Washington is what I would deem as kind of the city services epicenter building for the city of Montgomery. If you have an issue, when you talk about neighborhood issues, you got to talk about, well, which specific issue do you want to address? If you're talking about housing codes,
Absolutely.
25
They're
Washington,
there. Yes.
and we have an entire staff devoted to those housing code issues, and we see the list every week or every 2 weeks at the council meeting about what's being done in that regard. But in terms of,
there's so much more that can be done, and there's so much more that needs to be done. I mean, I realize that we do report that we have this enormous number of violations or abatements or whatever it is that we do on a regular basis, but for every one that's done, there's 5 or 6 more that's not being done. And I believe that if we had someone concentrating on that on a daily basis, with an up-close kind of approach to people in the neighborhoods, we could make a huge difference in much of the blight that Mr. Green talked about earlier.
Tell me how...
And I believe the answer for that would be in having people...
again, I don't know that our housing code inspection staff has ever been as high as it is today in terms of the staffing that we have and the concentration on blight that we have today.
It may not have been, but then we still need to double it to really make a difference.
You know, your customer service in your budget, you've gone from 145,000 last year to 245. You got $100,000 more money.
That was the combination of customer service and bonds.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got your department now, 311, where it all kind of coordinates for. Right.
We need neighborhood specialists, people who are concentrating on our neighborhoods, people who can be available. And I think it is bonds. I think I've always said that we have the resources available to us. It's whether or not we utilize it to the optimum extent. And I don't believe that we are. That's
Okay, I think you got.
So, I
think
mean,
you got to starting in the right direction by moving it all together.
I think that we could retain 3 contract employees at approximately $30,000 annually or something like that to work in the bonds office to fulfill these responsibilities. I just think I think that would be a
Call me
meager.
and tell me there's something going on.
No, sir, it wouldn't be their job. I can't, write the job description here. But I don't think that they would be, the responsibility simply would be to take a complaint and then call you. I think it would be their responsibility to take care of whatever the complaint was, and then to report to you what has been done.
You know what?
That's what 311's doing.
No.
But they're not doing that. They're not doing that, Mr. Barger. I mean, 311 is not something that's up close and personal. It's another bureaucracy. And yeah, you call and people say they don't think they get the kinds of responses from 311, but still they don't have an individual with whom they can identify, that they can touch, they can talk to about the issues that are affecting their neighborhoods.
And
I don't see 3 people handling the 11,000 complaints that we've had.
Well, that
Let me-
may be true, and then we may want to add 3 more.
I think
Oh,
reality.
hold on, let me touch on it right
I don't
quick.
think that works.
What I've done in my district is I've actually worked with a neighborhood association to actually get somebody to go out periodically in my district and then look around.
And we need people to do that.
And here's what I'm saying. I proposed earlier, the money, had an extra, $1 instead of $2 for the garbage, add $1. Why not add that extra $1, give the funds go to our rental tax or whatever fund, and then we can then, if the district wants to,
we can then hire those people to do that kind of stuff, like you saying. Cause I'm taking care of myself out of my rental tax. But since we're at the fund, I would like to probably put that additional fund, maybe take that money, and then I know your district has more needs, maybe say, than Bollinger's district or Jim Wright's district. So you all might not want to take advantage of that. But maybe we can put an additional line item in there just for that particular fund, and we can do that. And that's something, you know, that I think will be advantageous and can get what you need so you can direct it, and we don't need to create a new department. You can probably go through a neighborhood association.
A new department.
Oh, well, not a new department, hire a
Just add
contract.
on to what you got.
The
I
funds
think
already exists.
Chris got a.
I'm just asking the councilman if they would be okay with that use of those funds, because I'm already doing it out of my rental tax now.
Let me,
Where you wanna start?
let me
$10?
throw,
No. I mean, just instead of raising it $2, raise it $3, and that fund goes to our rental tax, that we can use it for stuff like that.
let me throw one red flag, there. Hey, it's an HR issue, it's not anything other than that. This city historically headed, a lot of contract people. We had a federal audit 3 years ago, I guess, and we had over 100 contract employees, and we had to get rid of our contract employees and either get rid of the contract or bring them on as employees. Because you cannot, as a organization, direct the activities of a contract employee.
Right, yeah.
And so, from that perspective, that's a red flag, at least from an administrative standpoint, to have a contract now, contract somebody to go cut the grass, that's the only different issue. But if you got a contract for services and you're directing those services, those activities, then you are in violation of that statute. And we in fact, we had this classification.
Well, what I was told is basically, you can go through a neighborhood association, then they in turn can work out whatever range they want to work out their district. And that's what I'm doing now. But what I'm saying is, right now, that's coming out of my money. I'm saying, let's put some more money in for those to do some of the things he's talking about. Now, we're not directing them, but nevertheless, we give them parameters upon which they can operate, and they can do it any way they want to do it. We're not providing equipment, we're not providing, you know, I know contractors, you can't provide certain materials. But I think that would be a way to get what you need now, since we're here at the budget talk.
Even in that scenario, I wasn't aware of that. I think to cover ourselves, you might want to get with Barry and let's talk to both Carmen Douglas as well as our attorney, whether that.
I think I did. I already did talk to him. He said it was okay.
Mr. Green's talking about it. He's just making a donation to a neighborhood association.
When they go do something.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, I think some of us do need that because we have a larger area that has more issues. And don't get me wrong, some people do take care of their grass better than others. But nevertheless, though, we still need to be proactive on that. And I'm saying while we're here, we can, and like you said, we can't get everything, but we, as a stopgap measure, that's something that maybe the other city councilmen might be interested in too. Yeah. So you know, that's what I'm saying. I know you might want to do something like that.
Well, I'll be interested in money, but I also want to piggyback on what Mr. Martin has said, if I may. I think we need something that comes, someone that comes. It's good going through our neighborhood association, but there's some continuity between the 9 council districts. I think what he's saying is the person there would be assigned. Right? Maybe,
yes, sir. Exactly.
Maybe 6 and 5. No, I won't be assigned with you guys. I'll be assigned with someone who doesn't need any money. Like Mr. Baldwin.
Thank you.
Assigned to them. Get the other
Try to take our money away.
But
again.
someone who can
No.
be responsive to the various calls that would come through the city that we live to, directly to say District 6, where they may not be able to correct the problem, but they can put the people in the right direction. I mean, one thing, 311 to call in and say, okay, let's take it. But then, let's say sometimes, you know, when someone calls in a problem, with an inquiry, it may take a little bit more than that right there. And when a person has worked, that person will be a little bit more familiar with, you know. I used to talk to Chris the other day, I've been down here for 2 years now, and I didn't really know who to talk to about a particular situation. So, you know, Chris has been on a long time. He knows what to do, but what I'm saying is, I just think too often when someone calls my office, and Mayor, they call my office, and I you know, I'm not in the executive part of it. They sometimes they won't call you off, they will call directly to the city council. I know that we take that on, but there are certain issues that we can't do that. I mean, and I think that person who works with me down here, although they could be an independent contractor, we wouldn't have to direct their time. We can give them a job description. You have to write a job description. We would have
No job description.
Yeah, but you know something? Let me just say something. We got conductors right now who has a contract with the city. You don't direct her, and by the way, that's my niece, you know. I don't vote for anything.
Well, you got pretty good news.
That was my brother-in-law. But what I'm saying is we don't direct what they do, and yet they do I'm not saying, they don't work for the city.
We'll take the boat captain, for instance. The boat captain, he doesn't get directed by us,
Yeah, but you tell him what time he got to be there and when he got to drive. That boat captain can't come in at 9 o'clock at night and say, let's go. You don't have a schedule for it. There's nothing inherent wrong with someone working on a contract. It's when you try to direct when they perform the duty. And listen, if you got a builder, you're gonna give a builder, if it comes down to specifications, the specs. But you can't tell him he got to be at 8:30. You can't tell him that.
That's a good example.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm saying. We don't have to tell them when they can work.
Again,
we give them $30,000 for doing the job, not how long they do the job.
Just a red line.
Yeah. I understand, and
Point being, Chris expands his office to do other things.
But here's what I'm saying. I mean, I understand there are some complications, and then when you get involved with bureaucracy. But I'm saying to get the same thing that Councilman Loughlin is saying, we as a council can vote for that extra $1 and use that money to then pay the neighborhood association. We need to get additional things done. Also, for them,
all the time to represent you all, your position, and your.
Look, I'm already doing it. All I'm trying to do is get the
Okay,
funds.
but
So
bottom line, you do it, you got money in your account.
no, I mean, it hurts. I'm getting low.
You have money in your account.
He's likely to spending every dime.
Anyway, bottom line is, if we got proposals in front of us to raise the taxes or whatever.
Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying
Raise them again.
the $2 go to $3, and then I'm saying that money goes to.
What about the equipment for the sanitation for that?
No, I think you already got. I mean, you already got that.
3 packages.
See, y'all keep look. Here's what I'm saying. I'm not taking away. I'm not taking away anything that's already proposed. So it's not an either or. This is in addition.
That's still $150,000, so that's a lot of money.
I mean, shoot. I mean, the grass needs to be cut. Like for example, let's say they go in and say the ditch needs to be cut, but then maybe for some reason we can go get a contractor through, or maybe get the neighborhood association to go take care of that. I mean, it's. I'm just trying. Look, I understand. I see the mayor's looking funny. I'm trying to.
I mean, reality of all this stuff is these are things we need to be working about all year long, come up with ideas to add to the budget.
But is this the time to do it now?
Huh?
Is this the time to do it? If not now, when?
Well, you've got to. How long take to make a decision?
I'm just making a proposal and then bring it to the vote for everybody. That's all. If they don't want it, then we don't get it. That's all.
Can I just take a moment to,
Go ahead.
gentlemen, children,
Everybody look when you say that.
I guess he assumes authority.
so you understand what teachers have to go through in classrooms.
You buy the ones with better students.
Yeah.
I just want to share very briefly, this is the email that I received today from a constituent in Capitol Heights. This is the kind of thing that a neighborhood specialist can take care of. Mr. Larkin, you need to ride around Capitol Heights. If I were a city councilman and this was my area, I would hang my head in shame. Capitol Heights is a mess. The home that was burned in April still stands, just like it did in April. The owner has done nothing but board up the front of it. There's trash everywhere, except where people like me get out and pick it up. I'm sorry. My goodness. I realize that it has rained a lot. This thing just keeps jumping. But you understand what I'm saying?
And I'll bet you that house is in process through the process that's out there, that if it got boarded up, we probably had something to do with it.
But she says that there are 2 auto repair shops still going strong in the neighborhood that's been operating. I've talked about this to our city planning and zoning people about this. These people are operating mechanic shops in the neighborhood and getting away with it.
Mr. Larkin,
I mean, all
why
of these
would a
issues.
neighborhood specialist get anything done? Why would you not say to Barry, forward that email to Barry? If there's
That's what
that
the
are
neighborhood
violating-
specialist would do.
Why
sir.
would, you got the email, why would you do that?
That's what the neighborhood specialist would do. I have a full-time
We've got
job.
interns, you've got
We-
2 interns.
we have 2 college interns that come in here part-time. Are those the ones you're talking about?
Sure, I mean.
They can't be the neighborhood
No,
specialist,
no, no.
Mr. Mayor.
But the
Why
email
do
could go to him.
Why do we resist working to better our neighborhood?
Because it's all about money. If we had all the money.
We're not talking about a lot of money. You will spend
Yeah, but it's
$100,000 on a
50
study.
Get the money.
Why can't we spend $100,000 on 3 people?
Because I
who work
promise
full-
you, if you don't spend some dollars, you're not gonna be able to implement the additional revenue.
Of course
Or
not.
you'll make a huge mistake and it'll.
I agree with Mike. Well, everybody's talking about an occupational tax. You can't just cough it out. But you gotta do it right, because if you don't, it'll get repealed like this. Didn't Jefferson County have?
When those things come to me,
First time.
it'll go to him, I'll go to Bruce, and I go
It cost them a
right.
boatload of money.
And if there's an issue, we deal
There's
with it.
nothing wrong with having a point
But they
person.
screwed it up.
But I think that people can identify that they know they can call and that they know they'll get results from.
Hey, I'd be the first to buy on that, because Tracy Davis, Vivian Thomas, and Gail, Harwell, they are the specialists to get all these calls. And they take their time, either try to get to 311 if they can, or to get to the various cabinet members of the department head to deal with those kind of. I'd be the first to say, I'd love to have an ombudsman in our city to do that.
Let's do
So
it.
Those are
that,
calls.
the email's gonna come
Let's do
from
it.
somebody.
We spend money on
I
everything
think you
else
can
that
put-
we want to put priorities on. This is a priority, as far as I'm concerned. This is something that ought to be
I don't
prioritized.
disagree.
Councilman Locke.
And
What
we're
do you
talking,
do with that?
still,
What do
we're
you,
talking
what do you
about.
do with that email now? What do you do with that email?
I just get cussed out.
Now, what do you do? What do you do to stop it?
I take care of it.
Cause if I get the same email, I'm gonna email it, I'm gonna send it to.
I send it to 311.
I got it.
Well, that's what I do.
I'm gonna send it to Chris.
Man, I copy Larry and Chris and everybody.
And the reality of it is,
And I usually get copies.
you're gonna still get the email, okay?
Councilman
I don't care
Locke,
who's in there.
do you have any objection to adding that extra dollar instead of 2 to 3? And then we can then maybe go through the neighborhood association to get some of the things that we need. That's all I'm saying. This particular point. I know the mayor keeps saying that it's money. I see.
It's money.
I got one.
Well, I'm trying to
guy
get the
that's
money.
on our
I
association.
mean, everybody looking like I'm crazy. They keep saying it's money. Then I say, okay, raise it $1.
One at a time, one at a time.
I guess I'm the neighborhood specialist. I'm the liaison. I get them.
You're an attorney, you have a full-time job. I have a full-time job.
I resemble.
I mean, we don't have the capacity to pay the attention that these people want and need in these neighborhoods, because we're not available to do it. We're talking about having people available to do this as a full-time
In
responsibility.
all due respect, we got 2,300 employees that are out there ready to do what it is that you guys and our citizens need. There's always a rest of the story when we get these kinds of situations. I promise you, we're not out there not taking care of it. If you'll just run that one to the ground with the Chris and him, I think you'll get a rest of the story, and you'll find out it is in process, or we're trying to make a case over here. And you cannot do it overnight. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll apologize to you, and I'll personally take care of it.
My problem is, I think all of us get those same emails, and we're gonna still get them, no matter who the city is gonna be responsible for, they're gonna still come to us first. And that's the real problem, and then if they don't get taken care of, people come right back to us and say, why didn't you fix it? Unless you know yourself as a council member, you'll sit there and get the blame for it.
Well, I'd get y'all if I told the guy that sent me the information, you just go talk to Bob, quit sending me this. We got a new liaison, send it to him. And they'll be like, well, you're my councilman, here's what.
No, if it was being handled, you wouldn't have a problem.
But you gotta get that, email.
In a perfect world, you're not gonna have a problem.
Hang on.
Mayor, the increase in police and fire was 1.7. Is that about right?
Well, that's the 1.7 would have been total for merit increases. The specific for them, like 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Yeah, $500,000 goes into each one to get the salary and the middle change.
But that starts in January, right?
I think so.
But we'll have to come up with some more money next year to complete that study that we looked at.
No.
That's what we're going on,
Well,
right?
next year, yes, because you'll have the full 12 months. This year, we'll have 75%.
Okay.
So we're
It'll be even more.
75%. So
So
again,
next year, you'll be looking more than 8.
revenue measures and, what do we need to do now to get to the additional revenue?
And if the fire and if the police can go beyond what we've got in our budget, I'm committed to fund it. But my issue is that been the recruiting process, they've never been able to get what we've actually funded.
Well, if we fix the salaries like what we talked about.
RSSE can do it.
And with the new, retirement thing that we wanted to go to.
You would hope that all
I
works.
think we can
You would hope it all works.
Just if it works.
But remember,
Next year we'll get it.
if we go and sustain ourselves above 502, that's the number. We got a grant worth 15 off.
Right, just that hadn't gone out yet.
We can get it removed.
Can I speak to something, Mr. Green, so he can understand where I'm coming from? I don't get you, brother. I think we need more money, but let me just tell you, I think we run the risk. Our duties, and I'm not saying that we can't do more, but our duties are set forth in 618. And to me, when we started going out directing, my suggestion is, we take on the responsibility of taking care of our neighborhood. I think, I've told me 100 times, and you know, I said it, man, listen, when you jump in, I feel like you override the council, like I think we did in, meet this job. I thought you served the authority of the council. I really did. I think, because you're in the executive part, and we can disagree, but I think when we started taking on, doing what the city probably is supposed to do, then we invade your territory.
Are we part of the city?
Yeah, but we legislative part, we're not executive part.
No.
No, we're not.
Operating.
No. 618, we don't have no right to direct any department head or anybody to do anything. So what I'm saying is that when I get out there and go and tell somebody, I want you to cut those ravines, that's all those ditches. What happens to the neighborhood association if that person goes out and hires somebody and that one of his employees gets injured? Then you got liability on the neighborhood association coming back to maybe the city. Yeah.
I think if you gave money to the association saw something in need in their area, and they hired some subcontractor to go out and do it.
Well, I'm not suggesting that, but I'm talking about here's my position is that when I call the neighborhood association and direct them, then that's coming directly from me. I don't want to be in the position of directing the neighborhood association of the city. I want to be in a position to tell the mayor that you all need to do it.
Mr. Bell, I think you misunderstand. It's not that I'm directing them. No, what I'm saying is that I'm assisting them. Some of them have asked for assistance. Some of them expressed that maybe things are not getting done as quickly, or maybe some 311 things being overlooked. So what I'm doing is assisting them. And I'm not even, I say, look, here's the whole district. Go through it in a month and get back to me. That's all I say. Now, I don't, once again, I understand laws of contractor. I can't, they can't be employees. You can just assist those neighborhood associations. I was just simply seeking to get additional funds to help do what we already doing anyway.
But are we making the neighborhood association do what you feel that the city?
Not necessarily. Well, no, because they're not really cutting. All they're doing is assisting and pointing out. Because what you have is right now the 311 system is.
What would they be doing?
What I'm saying, the neighbor, if the citizen sees a grass or something or nuisance, they make a phone call. Now, a lot of times, some of those, unless you see it every day, they don't report it. So what happens is, grass just grows. So those ones that are not getting reported, then the ones in the neighborhood can be proactive in looking at that and assisting me as well as the city in keeping up with those things.
But it's not your responsibility to ensure.
I'm just assisting. I'm being responsible. And until we get a better system, we can't just sit by and say, no, I'm not doing it. It's not my job.
But I think then the people are going to rely on you to do it instead of relying on the city.
I agree, it ain't fair. I don't like it.
But the city's not doing their job. We ought to.
Yeah, but they the ones, but they calling me, cussing me out. So I'm just trying to help.
Oh, you can help.
I'm the one that gets cussed out.
I understand. I'll go for it.
Appreciate it, man. So where we at now?
Thomas, you got something to add here? Anybody?
Well, I was listening in, and I think that the 311 calls are working quite well.
I know they are.
No, we're not. No, once again, I don't want anybody to get the impression that I'm saying you're doing a bad job. But unless somebody calls, it just keeps going.
And we do some proactive stuff out there also. When somebody calls y'all, the council members, then they may not know that there's already a complaint at 311. There is a due process time
It takes a minute.
that has to take, more than a minute. It takes
40, 45 days.
11 days before we even go back and re-inspect it. Okay, this process previously, before y'all amended the ordinance in 2009, took almost 90 days. And we've reduced that down to about a 30-day window now. And as soon as that's finished, then that lien is being placed upon that property within about a 14-day of the invoice.
Here's what I got.
And then that process was taking almost 7 or 8 months before. So we've improved it greatly with the ordinance in 2009.
Let me ask you this too. I understand we've got some kind of a windshield program going around where when the garbage trucks go down the street, they pick up data.
We get reporting from several different agencies within the city. Okay, as well as bonds in the neighborhood organizations.
Is that a trial deal with the garbage trucks?
We sit down at this table after every council meeting on Wednesday, and we sit down with the police department, with bonds, neighborhood response team, and we discuss these issues from these neighborhoods that have been brought to us.
Okay. Yeah.
And so
We get some stuff done.
we are networking, bringing together a network of city employees and making this thing work. And it takes time to make it work.
I think y'all looking at it the wrong way. I think you all, when I say that I need assistance or I would like to do more, you all taking it as if I'm saying that you're not doing a good job. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the system's not in place. But there's places in my district that have not been cut all year, and because nobody's called in on it and nobody said anything. And people will drive by and they'll look at it and go, oh, well, whatever. Until the ones that are getting called are the people that probably see it every day and they're proactive citizens. But what I'm saying is, I went through Ariel Rashid and there were 81. I mean, what I'm saying is I see no problem with doing something in between what Councilman Larson is talking.
How do you allocate the money?
Did they report those places to you?
No, they don't report it until, like, me, my wife and I, we sometimes get in the car and drive around and do it ourselves. And it takes a lot.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is,
And you reported to 311?
Oh yeah, I reported when people come to
Nothing's
me.
been done about it?
Y'all do your job. Look, once again, nobody said 311's not doing their job.
But you just said it's never been cut this year.
No, that's because nobody's reported it. That's what I'm saying.
He's wanting a grass policeman to go around.
That's just grass, there's ditches, there's other stuff. Just let me know about houses. Just let me know so I can let you all know, or get them to let you. That's all I'm saying. I mean, you all act like there's I'm just saying District 5 don't have certain areas that's really tore down. And all I'm trying to do is trying to just deal with it. That's all. I mean, you know, I'm not.
It's not what you're saying.
It's not just District 5. No, it's not just yours.
Okay, but we can't sit here and just allow it to keep going that way. At some point, we gotta try. And all I'm doing is trying right now.
Well, I think if we request expansion of that department to get the stuff done, you know, if we gotta cut grass, we need to get it cut.
I tell you this, let's say for example.
Getting it reported is what.
Yeah, let's say for example, he needs, I understand that it costs for city inspectors with the benefits about $60,000 per inspector, right? So we may see we need more inspectors. So if you raise that $1, that's $750,000. You get 3 or 4 more city inspectors, then give us some additional funds to probably then be more proactive because the city inspectors can't see everything. That's what I'm saying. Let's get more city inspectors. That way the $750 will pay for that. Because it takes money.
Let's figure out how to do that in the budget.
Okay, that's what I'm talking
Tell
about.
me give me a proposal.
All right.
Dollar more on sanitation stuff.
And we use that fund.
That's $750,000.
Yes, we use that.
Will go to the budget for,
All right.
for where?
For additional resources.
Additional resources so that we get more city inspectors.
Go into the planning department, in the.
And how much to each city council?
If you say let's say $60,000, that's $240. That leaves
Okay.
$510,000.
Let's do it this way, okay? We gotta get 5 votes to this. Okay? We got a proposal. Let's put a proposal on the table at the next meeting and say that's what you wanna do with your.
Okay, cool.
And then we're gonna do the 3 cents on the.
Everybody puts their
3 cents on
proposal
the
in.
gas tax. If we have
If you
different,
want for that.
You have a proposal.
if we have different
You want it
proposals, we
there.
send
You want
it
it
there
there.
for a council meeting.
He has one down there.
We'd like the price.
Yeah, I'll shoot it to you. Okay.
That's what I need.
Okay.
I need everybody to say, okay, that's the strict talk, let's go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Got an idea, let's do it.
I tell you what I'd like to see, Mr. Chairman, is he has a proposal. Mr. Larkin has a proposal, because he talked about expanding and doing some things that he'd like to see that he thought was a priority. I know that Glenn has a proposal down there, because he's after some things, and I think we need to all send them in to you, so that we can look at them before we come.
Yeah.
Instead of day up.
If you do that, I'll kind of coordinate, because that's what we're trying to do today.
Bradley, you probably got one.
If you got
Let's say raise money.
if you give it to me, then we share it out, and we'll give you something we can help.
They did that, but they gave it
One for
to
everybody.
this
If
gentleman. Ours is not here.
you give me your, I'll do that this week. Okay?
Y'all are killing me. I'm not even.
I want to address, I want to suggest something to all these proponents of a proposal. Mr. Green, I've learned that before you go in, there's nothing inherently wrong with talking to every city council. We just can't be there as a majority. You can count your votes before you go there.
That's what we do. We do that. Yeah, we do that. And we do that now. We can't talk to each individual.
All right, everybody, agree? Send it what you want.
Okay, I got one other thing about the budget that I'd like to just
Okay.
mention, just one small item.
Okay?
And when we look at our event side, take for instance, down here on our riverfront. Last year, all it brought in was like $3,500. And I think if we're gonna have an events full-time group, I think they need to be out there doing more with that venue down there. So that we can generate some funds with what we have. I think it's a great venue. And we just don't seem like we charge anybody or whatever. So, we'll have a lot of nonprofits use it. You know, that's good for them, okay? It's not good for us.
Yeah,
And our citizens need that same money to do these other things that we're talking about. Because as a councilman, I think we have some kind of financial responsibility as a citizens not to overspend just because we want to overspend.
If I may just respond to that, I don't disagree at all. We have 2 challenges. The first challenge is when we got here in 2009, we were losing $800,000 in the riverfront activity.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was we were losing money on the riverboat. And a lot of that was we were trying to be promoters in concerts. And we didn't know how to do that. We don't have how to do that. So when we today have events on the riverfront that we do, like the second Saturdays or the the Battle of the Bands or the antique car shows or the wine festivals or things like that, we don't charge for those venues because we're in fact putting them on. But there's a lot of revenue that comes through to the vendors, and obviously we get the money back on the tax side of the equation. We can do a better job of working with promoters to do the train shed as well as the riverfront. And we have developed a relationship, Tom Shaker, that we've developed with Red Mountain to bring in events here. They've already brought one, it was successful. We got another one, we've had two, we got another one coming in. Now, I suspect that what happens is when we get a percentage of the ticket sales or the processing fee or the alcohol sales, we're probably giving the venue away to get them to do the things, and so the money doesn't show in that account. That's probably the reason that it is. Now, I personally think there's some people that we could bring, and it would be a no-brainer to bring, and we've actually talked with the RSA, with the impact, see if there would not be a way that, let's just say you guarantee $400,000, a named person. Well, we said, okay, RSA, you take two, and we'll take two, and we'll share the profits. It's just, if there's a shortfall, you're going to take 50-50. Well, unfortunately, they were not in a position to do that kind of thing. But we will begin to do a lot more of that, as will the biscuits do that. And so, valid criticism, but there's a lot more money that's being generated down there than shows in that account. And then the other humongous issue is the railroad, and getting access across that railroad. If we could ever figure out how to spend $4 million to either go under or go over to that Coosa.
We had a proposal to go up underneath that Coosa.
I think it was wasn't that $4 million?
Yeah, something like that. There was a proposal.
Yeah.
That was way back.
But that is valid criticism, and the lady named Jamie Gonzalez is there. She does a lot more, as you well know. She organizes all of the events around the city, all the parades.
Oh, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, but that is one of their deals. And I will tell you that the riverboat this year is probably going to make a little bit of money. Made a little bit last year. We paid off the debt. We don't owe anything on the riverboat. So good progress is being made. We went from $800,000 loss to a couple $100,000 gain.
Yeah, no, I know that.
But I think that also we should be careful not to characterize these things as profit-making ventures, because I think that there are things that cities ought to do to enhance the quality of life for the citizens without looking at a profit margin.
I agree. 300%.
And we don't want to look like we're competing with private industry is putting on the same kind of entertainment.
Let me give you a perfect example, Tracy, and I appreciate you doing that. This next year is the 200th for the state and the city. Now, we're having a fun time trying to organize the city celebratory events and the state celebratory events in Montgomery. It doesn't make a lot of sense to compete. We ought to join together, and we are. And we are working with the state on a large event, a humongous event, something you've never seen in Montgomery, Alabama. And we're giving our facilities to this endeavor, but the hotel rooms, refreshment sales, the food sales, all of those things, we will get our share on the taxation. And so we do that. We give the riverfront and the amphitheater as well as the train shed to charitable organizations at a very, very small cost. Generally just covers our personnel, overtime, that kind of stuff. So we do have a social conscience in doing that. So you guys, y'all don't see a lot of this stuff that gets done. Maybe we don't do a very good job.
You won't tell us.
I was gonna say, maybe we don't do a very good job of sharing it with you, but, you know, we gotta get it, we gotta go. We gotta get it, we gotta go. EJI would be a perfect example, you know, how much do we benefit, and how much are we getting benefit from EJI? And that, in effect, we paid for protection and things. We shared costs with the EGI, and it actually cost us some money on the front end, but we reap great benefits on the back end.
And since you mentioned BJI, can I say this? Can we do a better job of taking care of the perimeter of the National Memorial? Can we, for instance, Holcomb Street is terrible. And if someone ventures just a block away from the memorial, they're looking at grass that's tall, they're looking at abandoned cars, they're looking at the underpass over there where the interstate is, the fence is all torn down and there's litter everywhere. Between West F. Davis Avenue and Mildred Street, I think that we need to pay particular attention to making sure that looks good so that when people visit the city from New York, Jersey, and Louisiana, and Texas, and Kentucky, they don't drive a couple blocks down the street and say, golly, what's wrong with this? This is a terrible looking place.
I haven't seen that, but I'll look at it.
Look at it.
And hopefully it's not
I
private
did
sector.
recognize that the 5 or 6 abandoned cars on Holcomb Street have been tagged here within the last couple of days. But there are a lot of other issues over there also that need to be looked at.
All right, everybody understand what we're gonna do?
So our next meeting is September the 3rd.
Tuesday after
Labor Day.
We'll have a meeting that day, and I'll have you give me your data.
Was it September 4th?
Do we need to meet earlier than?